Shalom. Kohalo Yahweh Bashem Abishai Bashem Bakakwadash. Double honors into the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered among the heathen nations that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And this is the book of Joel, chapter 2. And I'm going to read verse 20 and 21. And it reads, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive them into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder parts to the uttermost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. Fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for Yahweh will do great things." So this the Northern Army is talking about America, and they're going to go over to the Middle East. All right? And they're going to go over there, and they're never going to return. And this video is more proof of that prophecy well in play. Trump just signed an executive order ordering up 1 million reservists to active duty, which they're going to shift around. And with this COVID distraction to hide the collapse of the dollar, to blame the crash of the dollar on, because the dollar was already collapsing. You got Trump getting on TV talking about the greatest economy until this happened. And I'm like, what kind of, in the last 2 years since he's been in, you had 27,000 stores, companies that shut down, chains of stores, but yet the economy is good. It's madness. But nevertheless, the COVID coronavirus is a perfect distraction to bring in their new system, which is already in place. They had the problem, they presented the problem, they watched the reaction, and now the people are ready for the solution. And they're coming with the solutions, and none of them are good. All right? The main one, they've already digitized the money. Now they got these drones that the drones are going to go into the sky, can detect who's got corona, who doesn't, so they can just say you got it even if you don't. Your neighbors might see you cough or sneeze and call you up. Next thing you know, the men in black show up at your door. You know? And of course, also comes along with that digital currency will be the vaccines and the microchip. And the vaccines will probably make a lot of people sick because the vaccines have the virus in it. So death, woe, and destruction is coming. And like the scripture says, he's going to remove far off the northern army. And when you read 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, it clearly lets you know that the Lord is gathering all the nations together. They're going to come over there and they're going to fight, and the Lord's going to annihilate them. But without any further ado, let's let this short video play.
This is Dabu7. We have Trump signing yet another executive order, and this time, huge move here, calling up to military personnel. This is Dabu7. We have Trump signing yet another executive order, and this time, huge move here, calling up to 1 million different reserve military personnel in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. All because of this COVID-19 outbreak. So now all of a sudden 1 million of our people are going to be out here for what they say is up to 2 years. It cannot exceed 24 consecutive months. They're saying that the Secretaries of Defense and Homeland Security, which is in charge of the Coast Guard units not not subordinated to the Navy, are now authorized to order individual members and units of the ready reserve under their jurisdiction, and they can bring them into active duty. So they're saying they don't expect this, per all the terminology, to exceed 1 million troops, and they can't be there in active duty for 2 years. So they could switch them out and rotate like we've seen them do around the globe. But this is a huge amount of troops, a 1 million man army, if you will, being called up by executive order. I'm going to tear into this and break down some of the other details on the live stream. Make sure to join us 9 p.m. Eastern as I go live, and all the exclusive live streams over here on DLive as well. You can catch the replays down here below, as well as other videos. Links below.
In 1977, I met a French chef. He said to...
Didn't we give you much of a warning there, did it?
This.
But let's go right into the scriptures. This is Joel, the 3rd chapter, starting in verse 1. All right? You have to understand, all these things are being done to fulfill the prophecy of the nations being gathered in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which they're already there. Jehoshaphat has been a kindle, a pile of woods with fuel on them for many, many years now. That's what the people refer to ignorantly as the Middle East. Syria being the hotbed right in the middle of the valley of Jehoshaphat. Joel 3:1, it says, For behold, in those days and in that time will I bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So the Lord's going to end the captivity of the Israelites. And where are we mainly captive in? Well, in the same place where the northern army is coming from. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So that's that controversy of Israel. All right? Because, we've asked this question 1,000 times. When the people over there in the land of Israel, where are the records and the relics of the images of them being scattered through the 4 corners of the earth via slave ships in chains with yokes of iron around their necks, around their ankles? You never find it because it never happened to them. When you look into the history of it, you'll find that those very same people that are over in the land of Israel owned the slave ships. They were the slave ships owners. So they orchestrated the transatlantic slave trade, which took the real Israelites of the southern kingdom mostly, and well, the northern kingdom as well, into slavery. And here's the biblical record of it. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. That song about muskets, rum, and slaves. There was a movie where the Edomites boldly sang about it. Muskets, rum, and slaves. That was the main thing that they were trading. Those slaves were the Israelite foreigners, the Israelite refugees who had settled along the Niger River, along the Nigger River, as it's actually pronounced properly when you do your research, because it just means dark. It doesn't mean the negative connotation that it has today. But all those people that in the different, from the West Coast through through Benin, I believe it's called, through Nigeria, Uganda, the Niger River, the Nigger River runs all through those, by Mali. All right? And they did trade. They sold the boys, and they sold the girls, the men and the women. Verse 4. Yeah, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head. Tyre and Zidon were African nations. All right, and then of course the people in Palestine were the sons of Ishmael, and Ishmael had a lot to do with that slave trade as well. Although the original Palestinians were Hamites. Those people in Palestine are not the Philistines. They're not the actual Philistines. Verse 5. Because ye have taken my silver and gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. So when in 70 AD, when Titus, when the Flavian dynasty, which consisted of Vespasian, his son Titus, and his son Domitian, you can find that history in secular history. You can also find that history in the Bible, in the Apocrypha. Hence the reason why, one of the main reasons why they removed it. Because the Romans and the Greeks in the Apocrypha are said to be the Edomites. So they removed that evidence. But the Lord kept it in place because you have old Bibles from the, all prior to the 1800s. The majority of them all had the Apocrypha in it intact. Verse 6, the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. So these Zidon and Tyre, these Hamites, these Africans, these dark Africans, sold dark-fleshed Israelites who were not Africans, and the people in Palestine, the Ishmaelites, actually helped the Africans. And then they together sold them to the Grecians, who are not the real Grecians, but the Edomites, who've been calling themselves Greeks ever since Alexander of Macedonia, who could be traced back to Esau, Edom, took his army and his people into that land and claimed it and began to refer to themselves as Grecians. Their history is also in the Apocrypha. It's starting with the book of First Maccabees. And it's, as it said, they removed us far from our borders. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them up out of the place whether you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And now we have risen up. If you go over to Hosea, just like it says in I can get it in Romans, the 9th chapter actually, because it tells you Romans 9:25. It says, as it says in Hosea or Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which were not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there they shall be called the children of the living God. So that also scratches out and eliminates the Jewish people and population, because according to them, they have always been the Israelites. But according to biblical record, the Israelites would not be called the Israelites, but would be called by other names and not identified as Israelites until the end of days. In the end of days, they will wake up and remember themselves. Baruch 4:6, it also tells you that in Deuteronomy. This is back in Joel, the 8th chapter. Oh yeah, and it says they were back to 7. Behold, I will raise them up out of the place whether you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. So all the nations are going to go into slavery, as it says in Revelation, the end game. What happens in the end? Revelation 13:9 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All right, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, and war is coming. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai, Bashem Rakak Wadash, Shalom.